What's up guys, it's Maddie, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the 5 things that significantly improved my severe anxiety. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you thumbs up if you enjoy this content and subscribe if you're not already. I'm just going to hop right into it with number 1, which is breath work. Learning to control my breathing and to regulate my nervous system in that way has been one of the most important things that I've learned when it comes to regulating my anxiety. A little bit of a backstory about me, if you don't know already. I grew up as a severely anxious child, literally from the day that I was born, I like to say. Honestly, from in the womb. But I've always been controlled by this deep, guttural anxiety that has followed me for years and years. And since I was about 14 years old, it's been my goal to be able to help myself by figuring out what's causing that and how to get to the root of that, but also to help others. I'm currently a college student. I'm getting my bachelor's this fall in psychology, and my goal is to get my master's and eventually become a therapist. But I thought that I would share these tips just because they've really helped me, and I know I'm not alone in the anxiety that I experience, so maybe they can help somebody else. Okay, but getting back into breath work, as soon as I feel that anxiety sweep over me, I don't know about you, but I can just be out anywhere feeling totally fine, and all of a sudden I just get this feeling, this anxious feeling. And the first thing that I will do is start taking deep breaths. So specifically, I breathe in for 4 seconds, I try to hold that for 6 seconds, and then I try to breathe out for about 6 to 7 seconds. Sometimes I'll go a little bit longer, but I don't like to get lightheaded. I'm not saying that this is going to take all of your anxiety away and make you feel like poof, it's all gone, but it really does help take you out of the crisis zone of anxiety. And I used to struggle really bad with panic disorder, but this has been one of the things that has kept me a little more balanced in my life. And if you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or anything like that, you can actually track your heart rate. And as soon as I start taking breaths, I realize that my heart rate drops at least 10 to 20 points. Beats, you know what I mean. So yeah, breath work is a huge one. I highly recommend you try that. Another thing that isn't on my list, but I guess this is just a little bit of a bonus tip, is using your senses to help relax your nervous system. And one of those is feeling something really cold, like ice or cold water. When I was really struggling with anxiety and I would have really extreme panic attacks that I was unable to come out of on my own, holding ice, putting ice on my chest, whether that's an ice cube or an ice pack, or drinking cold water. You can also submerge your face in a bowl of ice water, hold your breath, put your face in the bowl for as long as you can, and that will physically calm your nervous system and help you come out of that anxiety. Moving on to tip number 2, this one is about policing your thoughts. I don't know about everybody else, I can only speak from my own experience, but I've always been an overthinker since before I can remember. And in the past, when my thoughts have been very negative, this has led me to spiral down a deep hole of depression and anxiety. And as soon as I started policing those thoughts, it significantly helped me mentally. Now that I've done so much work on myself internally and externally in my life, and I've really focused on the thoughts that are going through my head day to day, I don't struggle with this problem anymore. But 5-10 years ago, I really did struggle with intensely negative thoughts about myself, about my life, about how people viewed me. I didn't feel worthy of good things. I had a fear of being perceived by others. I didn't love myself. I didn't even like myself. I didn't know what I was good at. I didn't feel like I had any purpose. And I'm not saying, like I said before, that these things changed overnight. It took time. But as I started inserting more positive thoughts into my brain when I noticed the negative ones, I saw a difference in the thoughts that were popping into my head organically. So for instance, if I had a thought, I hate myself, let's just go with that one. That's a really deep, dark thought, and it's very, very heavy, and it can lead you down a deep spiral as it did me. As soon as I had that thought, I would switch and I would force myself to think, because I didn't believe these things when I first started, right? It took time, but I would force myself to think, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. And then I would force a couple more positive things in there. And this did not come organically. It felt honestly very uncomfortable at first. It feels unnatural because there's a little voice in the back of your head that's like, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. But we're not listening to that. We're just forcing the thoughts in there. Over time, this became very natural for me to replace these thoughts, and as soon as a negative thought popped in my head, nope, cut it out, swap it with a different one, even if I didn't believe it. And over time, I started to believe these thoughts, and I started to believe in myself. My internal monologue has significantly changed, and I'm so much happier. I mean, I used to have a bully in my head that would just constantly insert these negative thoughts that weren't even mine. You know, we go through so many things, like growing up. We meet so many different people that might force these thoughts into our heads that we don't even know where they came from, but they stick. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent, but it's just important to pay attention. Where are your thoughts coming from? Is this your thought? Is this just something that your brain is just inserting in because you're used to thinking this way? And then do the work to replace those thoughts with something more positive. And let me know how you feel in a month, 2 months, 3 months, because I promise, I guarantee you'll feel better than you feel right now. All right, the third tip that I have in this video that significantly improved my anxiety is a little bit cliche, but it is so true, and that is moving my body in whatever way I enjoy. Now, it has to be in a way that you enjoy, because if you don't like it, you're not going to have fun. And if right now you're not very physically active, that's okay. You don't have to know exactly what you enjoy now. You get to try new things. My AC unit just turned on. Okay, we found a new spot. The background might not be as aesthetic as it was before. I don't know, maybe you like this one better. But as I was saying, it's really important to find something that you like to do physically that is, one, good for your body and your mind, and two, something that you really enjoy. So for me, I found a gym I really like. I go to EOS Fitness and they have a little movie room there. It's dark, it looks kind of like a movie theater, but there's treadmills and other machines in that room that you can use while you watch a movie. So I do that. I also enjoy just walking on the treadmill and listening to my music or my podcasts, or I'll just go on a walk around the neighborhood. It really doesn't have to be complicated, but just moving your body will feed your mind. Tip number 4 is journaling, and you can either do this through video journaling or you can do it the old-fashioned way and write it out. But just getting the thoughts that you have out of your mind and onto paper, at least for me, it helps me feel so much less overwhelmed. Feeling overwhelmed is something that I have great experience in, and it's not a great feeling. So usually when I feel that way, I will just grab my phone. Okay, my camera cut me off, but whatever. Sometimes I just grab my phone, open my notes app, and I just write how I'm feeling in there. I also have a journal that I write my thoughts in often, and this allows me to like filter through what I'm thinking without it just spiraling around in my head. I can have it, look at it, put it all in one place, and often I feel much better afterwards. I've always been someone who loves to journal though. I've done it ever since I was little, so it comes really natural to me, but it's truly just finding what works for you. So the 5th tip that I have for you that has significantly improved my anxiety is actually to put into one. I feel like these two things kind of connect together. So the first one is staying in the present moment. My mind often wanders thinking about the past and focusing on what I think is going to happen in the future. And as much as my brain is trying to protect me when it does this, it actually does the complete opposite. Focusing on staying in the present moment and being mindful about what I'm thinking has really kept me from experiencing a lot of the anxiety and depression that I have experienced. All we really have is today, and if we want to think about the future, it should be in a positive, hopeful way in which we use today to plan for the future and have a better tomorrow. But focusing on the future, stressing about the future is only going to hurt us. And the second part of this tip is to accept the anxiety, accept the feeling that you're having, allow the wave of anxiety to go through you, and to remember that this is not going to last forever and you are not alone. Anxiety is a really difficult thing to experience, and if you don't go through it, it's hard to kind of explain what that feeling is like and how much it can truly alter your life. But coming from someone whose life used to be fully controlled by anxiety day in and day out and is now free from that, I can tell you that there is hope and there is light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to keep fighting to get there. And I truly do take things one day at a time. I pay attention to my body and my mind every day, and I try to make sure that I keep myself from spiraling deeper and deeper and deeper into my anxiety and depression. So those are my 5 tips for significantly improving anxiety. If you learned anything new from this video or if you enjoyed it, please make sure you give a thumbs up. And like I said before, don't forget to subscribe. You can comment down below if you'd like to. and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!